Welcome to another edition of the Law and Love episode where I, Mark Breyer, had to look behind me to remind myself, is it love and law, life and law, law and life? It is law and love, and that's because I am in love with Alexis Sapphire Breyer, who has done the law with me for all these years. Welcome.
Welcome.
Is it kind of weird to say welcome since we got up together, got ready together, talked about the kids together, talked about work together, drove here together, did the morning meeting together. Now it's like welcome.
But it's like welcoming our guests, not welcome to you.
But we don't have any guests today.
That's true.
And the only
but
person
welcome to our listeners.
There you go.
Yeah.
And our viewers, welcome to the whole world who is enjoying watching the Law, which I just cheated again, Law and Love podcast.
Good thing it's up there.
Now we have
it's like 2 words. How can we not remember it? But it is for some reason hard to remember.
So it should not be hard. And yet I fail at it. So today on this episode, it was just you and me. And I asked Bonnie Blue, I'm like, all right, come up with questions, but I don't want to see them in advance. I said, but Alexis is going to want to know the questions in advance, but you haven't seen them, have you?
No.
Do you wish you had seen them now that I'm about to start giving ourselves questions from viewers that were, I think from viewers, actually, I don't know yet.
I mean, I'm up to the surprise.
Really?
Yes.
Let's find out. All right. Because for those that don't know, we have, you've gotten yourself pregnant repeatedly. So we have 8 kids and we've been married.
That's sarcasm for people who don't know it.
Why is that sarcasm? Did you get yourself pregnant repeatedly?
I mean, I did. I just am not sure that people can appreciate your sense of humor because you're kind of not that funny. But
it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
I could go on tour with this.
I know.
And you would be the only one in the crowd going, why are they laughing?
But you know, you could only go on tour if people didn't keep following you because you tell the same jokes every time. And then your joke about how it's new to other people wouldn't still stay standing.
What's the best stand-up you ever saw? Best stand-up you ever saw?
I don't really watch a lot of comedy, but I will just go with Chris Rock because that's literally the only comedy show that I've watched.
That you remember, all right.
Although my parents were just recently watching a comedy show. I can't remember. You weren't there, actually. I don't remember who it was, but they were laughing so hard. It was funny watching them laugh.
So we can go with anyone. They like Fluffy
Rock.
too. But all right, we'll use Chris
yeah,
Rock.
they like Fluffy.
Right.
He's funny. You guys should watch him.
So they've watched Fluffy, right?
Yeah.
And they crack up at Fluffy. Your
Yeah.
parents love Fluffy.
They love him.
When they watch one of his episodes.
Yeah.
Do you think Fluffy's telling those jokes for the first time?
No.
No. Fluffy has probably worked on those jokes. The timing, the words to use, how he presents himself for months.
Yes, true. Do you do that with your jokes? Obviously
I've been working
not.
on them for years.
I
Just
think
you're
you need
always
to
in the
test
audience.
it a little bit more.
So it's hard for you to appreciate
Yes.
that they're
Well,
I'm even getting
anyways,
funnier.
back to I got myself pregnant all by myself. Yes, that happened.
I didn't really say it was all by yourself, but all right. So we have the marriage together, we got the kids together, we got the law practice together,
Yes.
so we're small business together, and now we have questions together.
Yes, that's exciting. Let's see what these questions are.
Question number 1. What was the toy or thing you always wanted as a kid but never got?
Oh my gosh. Well, I got everything I wanted. So my parents were those parents who I feel like I'm still humble, but I will say my dad used to take us out on I don't know why. It was always like a father-dad thing. I feel like that's true for you too. But my dad would take me out and would have like a dinner, and then I'd get to like go somewhere and get something. And for the longest time, I wanted to be a ventriloquist. Did I ever tell you this story?
No.
Yeah. And so I wanted to be a ventriloquist. So one time, although this is about what they didn't get us, right? Honestly, I don't know.
You can't not finish the ventriloquist story.
Okay. Well, I was just like, what didn't I get?
Even though it clearly is not an answer to that
It's
question.
not an answer to the question. Anyways, he got me this awesome ventriloquist doll, and I practiced and practiced, and I wanted to be a ventriloquist. But I mean...
Wait, you actually got...
Yeah, I got it, and I would like go like this. That's why I'm so good at like hearing
can we
you
try
talking.
it for a minute?
No, that was like 40 years ago.
Can you do anything? Do anything without... What words can you say without being obvious you're talking?
I don't know. Say something to say. Kids, go do your homework. You
That
gotta
was-
get that done right now.
I think it
No,
worked.
just kidding. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. But honestly, I really I feel like I didn't ask for a lot as a kid. I really, there's like a joke in my family that I didn't have any toys or books, but honestly, I really got everything I wanted. Like, I think I just was happy to spend time with my parents in their law office. And I don't really remember ever wanting a lot of toys or anything, wanting them or not getting them. What about you? Did you want a toy?
Well, I just have to share this before I go on
we're
to
not going to share anything.
Oh, I have to share this.
No, we're not.
Anytime that I want to start in with your mom, who I love, I have the greatest in-laws anyone ever had. But all I have to do is mention, because you don't remember the toys you had as a kid. You've told them you don't remember the toys. And they're like, we had so many toys for our kids. So I will say, just in the middle of nowhere, there's nothing else going on, I'll be like, well, that's why you didn't even get her any toys as a kid. And your mom. Well,
it like goes under her skin. Because of course, I mean, she was just one of those moms that was a mom pleaser. She wanted me to have like all the stuff. But it's not just that I don't remember toys or books or all that stuff. Like, you remember all your elementary school teachers. I don't remember like who I had for elementary school. I don't remember anything about even middle school. I can't remember what we were talking about the other day. You were like, do you remember being there or doing that? And it was literally something from like high school or something. And I was like, I don't remember that. But if you ask me about a client, their name, middle name, birthday, when their accident
from 26 years ago.
From 26 years ago, that I will remember.
I can tell you where I sat in Mrs. Kranitz's kindergarten class. I remember Miss Geddes in first grade, Miss Strong, who was amazing in second grade, Miss Coleus and Miss Schiffman, who said,
"You're so blessed."
I quote her all the time because she said, you learn something new every day. And we used to argue with her as fourth graders. You don't learn something new every day. You don't learn. Mrs. Schiffman was right. And then I had Mrs. Lukasik in fifth grade.
Or she should be right.
And you don't remember any of those.
Try to learn something.
But you just do. Unless you are totally closed off.
True.
If you are open to the world around you, you will learn something new every day.
True.
And if you're trying to learn many things a day, you will. It's all around you. Like, think of all the things you could learn from your husband if you were just open to it.
Oh, true.
So
what's a toy that you didn't have?
I really wanted in television.
A television?
In television.
Oh, in television.
What's that? After everyone else, we got Atari.
Oh,
and then
one of the video
then
games?
It went in television and ColecoVision. Anyway, and I'm not complaining because we had like
I never had that, but I would have beaten you if I did. I'm just saying.
We do have that. We do have that one Miss Pac-Man game but remember what happened in Centipede. Just remember.
True.
Why don't you tell
lucky game and then that was it.
What was the highest score when we went through months competing at Centipede?
Yes.
Who ended up with the high score?
You did end up with the highest score, but it was like an anomaly. So it was like you just ended up somehow getting a great score, and I couldn't ever beat you.
So the Olympics weren't that long ago. Someone wins a gold medal out of nowhere. Did they win it less, even though it came out of nowhere?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I beat you at Miss Pac-Man. So
it's coming
and
rising.
We had a bet on that, so I got something out of it. And
that's
you
true.
So.
Miss Pac-Man did not end as well.
So
all right.
In television, is that like Asteroids, Space Invaders, or what was that?
So those were on Atari.
Oh, okay.
And in television was like another step up, and it had these different kind of paddles with a round thing, and it just had some really cool games that were like seemingly ahead of where Atari was. But Atari was amazing. And you know what else you saw? We were at that conference. You see me go running? Did you see that?
Yeah, to play Asteroids again?
No.
What was it?
We were all in this room at this conference. It was their futurist room.
Oh, I did see you go running. You disappeared.
And
I didn't know you were going to play video games.
What looked like an old school, like straight out of the early 90s Nintendo gaming system attached to the TV. So what was odd about that was it was not my room. It was not my TV. It was not my Nintendo. Someone had hooked up this whole thing. And instead of asking, hey, can I play it? I went running, grabbed the controller, and tried to start playing it when I realized they didn't have the HDMI hooked into it, so I couldn't do it. And it actually, it wasn't the old school Nintendo. It was made to look like it because there was no more cartridges. But it was just interesting how, just as I would have when I was younger, I just went running to go play it.
I think we were just talking about this because our oldest, when he was like 13, we got him, was it PlayStation or Nintendo?
No. It was a Sony. Yeah, it was Sony.
Yeah. And he was so excited because we had him wait till he was 13. And he was probably just as excited as you were. So they just keep getting the games better and better.
The games are so good now. Do you ever watch the kids when the boys are playing?
No. And I haven't got our youngest a video console because I'm like, I feel like it just takes so much time away from all you little boys.
I am sometimes afraid when they were during COVID, I think it was during COVID, all the kids were into Fortnite.
Yeah, that is true.
At one point, this is the only time this ever happened. We had all of our kids, all of them were playing the same video. And the girls mostly don't even play that much.
Yeah.
They were all playing it. And I didn't
it.
start playing it in part because I didn't have time, but there was a small piece of it going, what if I get really into this,
it'll be over.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next question?
Next question. What do you do to most appreciate your husband, and how can you share that with other wives?
That's not a real question.
No, it's not really a question. Do my best. I found you guys from Kaylee when she did Kaylee's Queens. How did you raise such confident kids? I'm taking notes.
Interesting. That really is a thing. I feel especially like for females, I'm like, dang, why aren't you confident? Like, what happened in your background? Like, come on.
We should probably let people know that Kaylee is our oldest daughter and our second oldest kid.
Yes.
And she has done all sorts of things trying to lift up
young girls,
women.
Yes.
But basically helping others be confident, approach life in a confident way.
Yes.
And that is a passion of hers.
Yes.
Right? So I'm going to let you handle that.
So
how'd you do it?
I do feel like our kids are very confident.
Sometimes to a fault.
Sometimes maybe to a fault. I think that, I think as they were growing up, we always were like, you can do it. You're not going to quit. Don't stop. Even the boys, if they wanted to not be on a team anymore or anything like that, we're like, nope, you've got this. You got to keep doing it. You can do it. And just always those words of affirmation. I think also people learn from example. So I think both of us are very confident. And it's all about just being solution-based. Like, what can you do to get things done as opposed to, oh, I can't do this. So I think it's just all about, mindset and keep reinforcing that from a young age. I think if people are always around people from a young age that they're, amazing and great and they can do it, don't quit, find a way to get over it, then I think you just, after a while, you believe that. And then that's your mindset. You figure out a way to, have the confidence that you can find the solution. You can figure it out. You're a great person. Doesn't mean you're perfect. But it does mean that you're able to, feel good about being able to do things.
This is such a good question. And I'm trying to think of, first of all, I think partly, kids, you're born with this piece of clay and you can mold that clay, but the clay impacts a lot of what the kid becomes, right? It's like, our joke that each kid, the kid we brought home from the hospital is who they stayed forever.
True.
Who they've stayed forever. And I think the thing I push back on that I hear a lot is, and I see it more when I coach all the kids in youth sports but you'll hear it all over the place of, we don't accept anything but number one in this family. And I've always, I'm not a huge fan because I think a lot of people love to preach at their kids, you're going to be number one. We don't take losers, champions only. But then they live their life in the most mediocre fashion, complaining about everything that happens to them. They're a victim in everything. But in sports or in grades, they say to their kids, you have to be the best. I struggle with that. I do think there are some things we have done, but I think it would be a really interesting few hours if we sat with you, me, and the kids and asked them, what did we do? What, you guys all think, again, sometimes to a fault, that they're all incredibly confident. And so asking them, what do you think we did that impacted? Why do you guys all look around? I think part of it probably is just you know, that you and I are both pretty confident about who we are and what we're going to do. And I think part of that is being around that. I think a lot is who they are. And
I
then
think we do that with our team too, like at work. Like, it's like, yes, you can get that much. This is what we're going to do. We're going to ask for this. We're going to strategize. Like, be the one that you know that you're going to be able to get that result, or you're going to get that win at the jury trial. Like, let's go. We're going to trial and we're going to win. Like, I think it's not just, you know, personally, but also professionally. I think that you have to have that mentor of, you can do it.
There's a growing, you know, I read these business books sometimes. I don't read a lot of confidence type books, but, you know, I love quotes. And I think there's this growing thing of positive mental attitude is not as important as it once was. And it's about being neutral. And I think some of that is true. But when you act from a position that you truly believe, I'm good enough and I'm going to take the risk. And really, I think people are so afraid of losing everything in relationships, at work. They just live life in fear. And so they overreact to the negative instead of seeing the positive and believing they can get it. But it's a great question because I'm not sure I have an easy answer. But man, do our kids, when they're together, it's probably a lot for people who spend time with around our family. And they're like, man, everyone here thinks they're the best.
True. They also work really hard though. So, I mean, you know, if you're putting in all that time and hard work and you're really working at things, then I feel like that'll even back up your confidence. And then you have people around you being like, wow, you're really amazing. That's so great. So oftentimes, like at work and at home, when people are around, they're like, wow, no one's ever said that to me. I've flown under the radar at work. Or I'm like, well, that's not going to happen here. I see your greatness and you're going to be even greater. Or like, no, you can do it. Like at home, like so many parents, I feel like they don't outwardly give their kids like positive affirmations. And so if you have always been hearing how great you are, then, you know, that's obviously going to have an impact on your confidence, I think, anyways.
I think that I would add this. I heard this when the kids were really little, and I've tried to use it throughout the whole time we've been raising the kids, which is it's not just the empty positive affirmation. You know, saying, I'm proud of you. Why? Mm-hmm. Tell them why. Give them a specific, I'm proud of you. You did this. I'm proud of the way you handled that issue. I'm proud of the way that you got that tough grade and you turned it around. I'm proud of the fact that you asked, you know, you confronted the teacher who gave you the wrong grade and you tried to fight for yourself. And I think that's true of telling them how great they are. You can throw out a bunch of empty, and that's a lot better than the negative, but why? You know, and I think you have to support kids when they fail and encourage them at those tough times and not be afraid of tough conversations. And to your point about, you know, as we know, one of my favorite sayings, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. If you're surrounded by people who give you positive feedback, yeah, that sucked. I can't believe that happened. You're going to find a way. As opposed to people sitting there go, oh, it's so unfair. Life is unfair. I can't believe how hard this is. Life is unfair. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, which is, you know, I guess in our family, there's a lot of people who believe and have confidence, and that probably helps. You ready for the third question?
Yes.
Ooh. I want to be an influencer, but I'm scared the law firm I work for won't like that. I don't want to post anything about law or even say I'm a lawyer. I just want to be sure. I just want to share some about my life and do my makeup on camera. I would never share anything inappropriate. Should I tell my bosses to just go for it and pray they never see anything? What? That's a good one. All right. You're up.
I mean, I feel like if she's not doing anything appropriate, some of the influencer stuff I see, I'm like, oh gosh, like that is going to follow you around for the rest of your life. Like, why are you putting that up there?
Like some of the posts I've seen from our kids where I'm like,
yes,
that's not what Dad would have had you post.
Hopefully we get to them fast enough that they take them down. I mean, to me, I don't think it matters who you work for. I think there's somewhat outside of your work and then there's your work. However, I do stick with that. You are your brand and, you know, you are what people say when you're not in the room. So I do think there is an element of depending upon where you work, that you have to respect that you're still part of their brand, whether you're at work or not, especially depending upon who you work for. But I don't think there's any reason to tell your boss, do you? I mean, I don't care what people do, as long as it's not. The problem with us is that, and we have had this come up from time to time, generally not.
Lawyers who wanted to be influencers on our team?
No, but people who may have posted something inappropriate. It could be maybe going too far in politics, or maybe, I don't know, just something that it's like they kind of cross the line. And then it could be because our people in our office, lots of times they're friends with their clients on social media. They're friends with each other on social media. And so for that reason, I think, it can be not great if you're posting things that are inappropriate. And I think it's just the line is different depending upon who you work for and what connections you have in terms of social media, or who's going to see what. But I think it's a balancing act. But I don't think I need to know if you're doing social media. Like for me, if you're doing social media and you're working for me, I assume that you're going to post things that you wouldn't be, afraid for me to see. Like you'd be proud for me to see it as well.
So I have a lot of questions on this one before I give I'll give you an answer.
You have a question to the question?
Yeah, because, okay, what is your goal? If your goal is influencing as a fun little side gig,
yeah,
I have a different answer than if this is my dream and I truly think I'm capable and I want to do it. Do you love the law or not like the law? Is your current job the job you really want to be in? Or is it just a holdover? Because I think you have to weigh that out. If this is the greatest job you ever had, you're working for amazing people, but let's say they don't get social media, they're anti-social media. If they found out, now willing to risk that job for social media is totally different than, I'm not even a huge fan of the people I work for. It's just a paycheck. And this is my dream and I want to chase it. In which case I'd say, I don't care what they think. And by the way, to me, I think we have to be careful with this, but what people seem to want on social media is authentic. My issue with that is they want you to be authentic, even if it hurts your life. So like, be transparent, show yourself. In some cases, they do that. And then when you're transparent, you show yourself, they use it to try to crush you, right? So, but you're a lawyer and you're an influencer doing makeup. I think the fact that you're a lawyer and talking about some things in your day without sharing anything that's inappropriate or that reveals client competences might, and maybe not, because I don't know what her target market is and who she's going for. But if that helps you and that's your dream, you're going to let these people you currently work for hold you back. And as far as whether to tell them, I don't think you owe it to them. But if you think it's going to come back to them, if you know it's getting back to them, then control the narrative, look them in the eye, have the difficult conversation. Don't wait for it to come out and for them to perceive it. Now, if you're not sure if they're ever going to find out about it, now you're playing a different game. You're weighing it out. But
although I always tell people who work for us and the kids, like, I will find out. It's just a matter of when, but it's going to happen.
Wait, are you saying you can sit here right now and know that none of our people are influencers without knowing? Like, you don't know what they're all doing? We have this incredible team living their life.
No, I don't pay attention to what they do, but if they do something that I wouldn't approve of, then it's going to come out because people are going to start to talk. And, I don't really care what anyone does when they're working for me, but I'm just saying, like, if you do something that's inappropriate, then it's probably going to come out.
But that raises another point.
Like if you call in sick and then you post something that you're, in Hawaii or something like that, we're going to find out.
That tends to get back.
It tends to get back. The inappropriate stuff tends to get back.
I do want to say one other thing.
That's because we're more like a team and more like, we are a family at home. So although the kids don't rat on each other at all, but I feel like I still find out. It's a small community.
Inherent in that question is this: my bosses, I don't want them to know. Maybe she has assuming this is a woman commenting, maybe she's got the wrong bosses, right? Like you're going to do makeup online and you have to worry that your bosses are going to give you what business is it of theirs if you want to do makeup and be an influencer online?
I get that though, because you're like a lawyer and it's like
Seriously? So if someone
I
on our
get why
team,
she would feel that way.
no,
I don't
I'm not
think,
criticizing the person asking the question.
Yeah.
I'm saying anyone on our team, and we have, if someone on our team wants to be an influencer, they don't need to ask our permission. They don't. Now, if they get online and start saying that we need tort reform because insurance companies don't make enough money off the backs of injured people, well, that's inconsistent with what we believe. We at least probably should have a conversation, because we're not just talking the talk here. We believe what we believe. So if you're out in your personal life and you don't really believe we're not aligned, maybe, but for the most part, go do your thing. That's your life. I am sure we have people of every different viewpoint on almost everything on our team, and let them be them.
I agree. Let's go to the next question.
Sorry, what was the last thing you said?
Let's go to the next the next question.
All right. This one we've actually gotten a lot when
Okay.
Bonnie Blue has me post in different forms. It's my actual dream to work for the husband and wife law team. What do you look for in an employee?
Ooh, okay. I actually had a candidate that I recently interviewed, and I waited to see if they sent anything acknowledging the interview, like, oh, thank you for taking the time, or I appreciate it. I was like, I'm not going to respond until I see if they send anything.
And why do you do that?
I don't always do that, but for some candidates, I feel like, especially in the law, like you have to have a lot of empathy and understanding. That's one of our values. And I just feel like showing appreciation both ways for people taking time. I always send something to people too. I always try to send something to people, like, thank you for your time. But that's a side note. For what I look for, I look for, are they going to be a values fit? Which for us is a little bit of a balance, because we have a lot of fun, but we also are always talking about quality of work. We're always talking about getting the best results, making sure our clients have the best experience, and making sure that their case goes through in the minimum time for their case. So sometimes it's a balance of, are you going to be able to have fun and, not take everything so seriously? And are you going to have confidence while at the same time knowing we're here to do a great job? We have high expectations. So I'm always asking a lot of questions about that. Looking at their resume, like if you have misspellings in your resume, if you don't respond timely, some people take like 2 days to respond. And I'm like, what are you doing? You must not want this job, right? Those are some of the things that I look for. What about you?
So for me, it starts and ends with the values in terms, obviously, Herb Kelleher, the guy who got Southwest Airlines going and created this amazing airline out of nowhere, and then it got turned over to the accountants, and then they ruined it. But in any event, he created this amazing experience on what was then a discount airline because of the culture. And so that starts with values. We have 10 values, which you mentioned. And to me, I'm not just looking for the best lawyer. I'm looking for the best lawyer that's a fit for who we are and our values. You can be an amazing lawyer. If you don't fit us or we don't fit you, I talk to people all the time about the fact there's a lot of Kool-Aid drinking in our office. There's a lot of rah-rah. There's a lot of, we're going to be the best. We're going to provide a better combination of service and results than anybody, good. We don't just talk about it, you and I overhear, I see emails. This is part of the culture where there's a lot of people who go, I just want a place to work. I just want a good place where I can go in, do my job. I don't want the friendship with other people I work with. I don't want to ask clients about their life. They're clients. I'm doing a service. They're coworkers. We work together. There's nothing wrong with that, but you will flame out and be a mess. You will never work well at the husband and wife law team. Also, there's a lot of people who, like we talk about, we passionately pursue our client's best outcome. If you're in a client, not even client facing, if what you do impacts clients and you really don't care about their outcome, you just want to chase the almighty dollar and how does it help you, it will get exposed early and we'll have hired the wrong person. So when I'm on interviews and what I'm looking for, obviously the other stuff matters. Oh, the reason I brought up Herb Kelleher before I then bashed the loss of their culture, but is that he said, hire for personality, train for competence. you obviously, you can't apply to be a lawyer if you didn't go to law school, right? And you shouldn't be on the marketing team if you don't have a talent for or the ability to do marketing. But that's just not enough. Right. So I would say that the values are where a lot of times I'll get off an interview and I will go back to the team and I will say, not the right fit for this team. And it's, again,
I think that's okay though. Lots of times I tell people too, like, I'm asking you a lot of questions because you're choosing us as well. Like, it's not just about us as the employer choosing you as the team member, which I think a lot of companies should think about. Like, if you want this person, this candidate to get to their best place, then it might not be the right fit for your company. Like, it's a two-way street, especially where we invest so much in our team members. We do so much training. We do so much, support. We have all these dashboards, like so much for them. So I don't want them coming into a culture where we're all about, let's meet these expectations. We have goals, but at the same time, we're playing all this fun music and having a lot of fun. Like, you don't want to waste your time either. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that you're not wasting your time. So I think having a lot of interviews is a way to tell candidates more about who we are, to see, like, is it, because again, it's not just about, what does it take to get into our firm, because maybe we're not the right fit for you. And so, I like to think that for people who we don't bring on, that, we're finding them their best place, as well.
And that is a piece of it. I remember when we hired someone, now it's got to be close to 10 years ago, and she said it would have been easier to join the FBI than join this firm. But why do we do that? All those steps are to try to make sure, if someone's a great fit for us, but they don't love it, then they're looking over their shoulder, wondering if they can do social media because they're at a place that doesn't support them and care about them. One of our values is we support and cheer for one another personally and professionally. I can't count the number of times I've had to say to someone on our team, it's like, hey, I can't think of, can I go to the turkey trot for my kid? Why are you asking me that? This is a place where you should go to the turkey trot for your kid. That should, if you feel the need to ask that, I have failed to set a culture where that we are going to be there for each other and our families and our clients.
That goes back to the employee battered syndrome.
Yes. That they've
just worked in so many places that are horrible that, they just, I think also sometimes people just like respect us and respect the managers so much that they still ask just because of communication. But I do think that employee battered syndrome is like a real thing, because so many times people are in work cultures that are just such horrible environments. But for us, if you have the goals, you have the KPIs, key performance indicators, your expectations. I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, if you can do your job not working at all and you're able to meet all these goals, all these high expectations that we have for you, don't show up. It's not going to happen. You're not going to ever be able to do it. But, at the end of the day, if you have the goals and everybody has the clarity on what they are, then, we trust you and make it happen.
The biggest problem, I think, that we have to try to break, there's so many things that happen because when you work at a place where people don't trust you and they're looking to blame you and everyone's out for themselves, you learn to live in that world. And then you join us, and there's a lot of breaking through and actually creating trust, because at first they don't believe it, right? We've heard multiple times now from people like,
when's the shoe going to drop?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. But the biggest one is, I think it's so many places, the key is don't ask for help. Don't admit you need help. Keep your head down. To me, that's so backwards. Like, if you can't keep up, ask for help. If you don't know something, ask for help. But it's so many places asking for help ends up in write-ups instead of we got you and support and let's coach you through this. So you end up doing the opposite because of where you've been. You come into the husband and wife law team and you bring in this, I'm not going to ask for help and admit I have a problem and I need some help over here. And I need some additional training. And then you end up actually having a problem because we're about results and living our values and doing, we produce quality work. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. The problem is not asking for it.
Yes.
But people's experiences work against them when they join us. So, all right, let's see. You ready?
Yes.
My wife is perfect. My wife is perfect. It's an interesting start to a question.
True.
My wife is perfect, except she does our finances and she will not let me have any input. How do y'all decide who does those bigger things in a relationship?
So
I decide what I'm told to decide.
I think for us, it naturally went different ways. We didn't really decide so much.
Oh, one of us decided.
Yeah, maybe. I guess I did everything I wanted to.
I
and
don't
then
remember deciding,
tried
though.
to get you to do this stuff. Well, okay, you're supposed to take out the garbage, which you didn't do for the first 15 years, but the last 15 years you've done a very good job.
Thank
so that's
you.
good.
Takes time.
Yes. You drive the kids to school. For a while there, we were going in like 3 different places, and we each took like 3 kids and had to drop them off, which was so crazy. I definitely do more of like, we were away like a few weeks ago and you were like, oh, who's watching the dog? I'm like, it's taken care of. Or you were like, do the kids have their boarding pass? I'm like, it's done. But you do a lot of the reservations. But I do everything in terms of like in the house.
So as you see it, you do everything important, but I like will handle the reservations and taking out the trash.
Yeah. Even some of the reservations, like you usually do at the last minute. Let's see. What do you do at home? Well, last night you went outside and threw the ball with our son.
It's not something around the house.
I know. That's what I'm trying to give you some credit here. You know,
Well, you're desperate.
you did put batteries in our shades the other day. That was really good. That
was a big
And you're
moment.
very proud of yourself.
I was very proud of myself.
You take the dog out in the morning.
Sometimes.
That's pretty good. For the first 25 years of our marriage, you did not do laundry, but I don't know what happened. Like in the last 5 years,
Do you feel bad when
we
you
started
lie
doing
on me
some
like that?
laundry.
You've always said that. You've
No, like the
always
last 5
denied
years, you started doing some laundry. In fact, I've stopped doing as much because you've been doing it so well. That's good. But what do you do around the house?
This question, just
I
to be
do the
clear, because I feel like I just
finances.
want you to be clear.
I do the
It
kids.
isn't around the house. It's
In
the
life.
bigger things in a relationship.
Okay, what do you do?
Not a lot.
This is true.
Someone's got to be the visionary and someone's got to be the implementer.
True.
I'm the visionary. It's your job to implement.
Yeah, you buy tickets for football games that you can go to with the kids.
All right, let's roll this back. So
You did good on that.
Now I'm going to have to actually think this through. So what
you
do I do?
You should think about it.
Okay. So I don't just take out the trash. I then have to take the trash to the curb and back once a week. That's
No. You delegated taking the trash back to the boys.
Because I thought that because I didn't do that with the older kids. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's ridiculous.
You needed to give
Because when
them a
I was
good
a kid,
chore.
my dad had me carry out the trash can.
Yeah.
And so this is like about 6-7 years ago.
Okay,
I'm
so
like,
you take the trash down.
and out and then down and then right. Okay. Oh, that's 2 different
You
things.
take the trash from the house to the. You're like breaking it up into like 7 steps.
And
I take the trash.
and then
to
I
the
replace the
can,
trash. Then I
and
got to put the trash bag in.
Okay, that goes into like one task.
I think that's at least 4.
Take the trash out.
So what are the things I do around
You
the
don't
house?
order the bags. Sometimes you do.
I do order the bag sometimes.
Hardly ever,
And sometimes
though.
I order the bowls. So when we need more paper bowls, someone's got to get more paper bowls. So I do that. For about 2 years, I did the grocery shopping during COVID.
But that started because you wanted to see the grocery store completely empty. And that did not last 2 years.
2 years. Yeah. It got solid 2 years-ish. Something like that. And then, hold on. I know there's more stuff I do. I just just hard to find it at the moment. But I for sure do stuff around the house.
I do the finances. I take care of the dry cleaning. I make all the doctor's appointments for the kids, for you, and for the dog. I make sure the kids are brought to school. I follow up on their homework.
Now that I think about it, I don't like this question.
I do all the finances. What else is there? I schedule them for camp.
Hold on.
Any after school activities.
Who handles the TV stuff? That's
the TV
me.
stuff.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you ordered 4 TVs when you were supposed to order 2.
And I do the direct TV.
You do the TV stuff.
I do the direct TV and I pay the direct TV bill.
You do not pay the DirecTV bill. It's set up automatic.
No, it's not. I pay it every month online.
What?
Every month.
Well, it gets taken out of the account automatic.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I see it.
No, it's not on auto pay because DirecTV will sometimes have some charges in there that I'm like, what's that?
You do Venmo.
So I took it off auto
You
pay.
Venmo people that I need Venmo.
All Venmos are on me.
You do. All Venmos are on you.
What's the bank one?
And I'm purposely not going to get a Venmo so that you can do it.
What's the bank? Oh, Zelle. I do the Zelles.
Yeah, you
and
don't
the
do
Venmo.
many of those.
You have no idea the
You've
Zelle
never
burden I
paid
carry.
a college tuition, and you did go to every doctor's appointment while I was pregnant, and for like the first 2 after that, but
Hold
you
on.
haven't been to a doctor's
I think I've
appointment
missed
since.
like 2 OB appointments in our marriage of yours.
That is true. That's because you like the doctor. You have never been to the orthodontist, not once, and almost
That's not true.
7
I've
out
been
of our
twice.
8 kids
But
had
I've been to 2 appointments.
They have appointments every month.
But I've been to 2 of them.
I'm just saying.
Ever.
Do you want to take that over? Because the youngest needs braces.
No, why would I do that? You're so good at it.
I think I need to like level up.
Once again, I'm just pointing out the question was, how do you decide who enters the? This was a serious question.
The cars,
about
I take
not
care of
getting any
all
input.
the cars too. Any tire stuff, oil change, like
Hold on.
emissions.
Who fills up the gas almost every time?
You do the gas.
On your car.
Yeah.
on what-
See, you're thinking of some things.
Yeah.
You do the gas.
And the gas.
And
That's-
you'll order me lunch. Like anything on Uber Eats, like
When do you get Uber Eats?
if we need, like if we're like out or at lunch, usually you'll like go and get me lunch.
We have someone
just
here in
saying.
desperate need, and you're trying to just focus on around the house stuff.
There isn't stuff outside of the house either.
Let me ask you
You do
something.
carry the luggage when we're in the
How
airport.
many things happen in this marriage without your approval? The way I see it, you've chosen to do all these things and have refused to allow me.
You know what?
To do them.
My mom told me the other day, like she's asked my dad to do all these things for her and he hasn't done any of them. And I'm like, why are you even waiting for him? Like just do them on your own. So sometimes I ask you to do stuff and if you don't do them within that second, basically, I'm just going to get him done. So that is how our responsibilities have evolved. I just need to get them done and they just get done.
So let me sum that up.
You do a really good job of watching football with the boys, doing the tickets for them. You take out the trash, you take out the dog.
I'm coming back to this
I'm
another
good
episode
with all this
because I
stuff.
do way more. I'm missing it right now. But
I
for
don't know.
sure,
I
I do
think
more.
maybe it's just being high. If you have to think that hard
No way.
about what you do,
Because I can never remember anything.
you
I'm going to come
remember
up
your
with a list.
kindergarten teacher. That's how you started this whole
I
thing.
understand, but this is totally different. This is what did
How
I do
is
today?
this different? This is like in the last week.
I remember when my mom and sister showed up to get me and where I was sitting in Miss Kranitz's class.
Right. But you can't remember what you've done
I remember a
in
song
this last week.
from kindergarten. You want to hear it?
You did a couple interviews for me
You ready?
this week. No, we don't need to hear that
It's
song.
clean up time. It's clean up time. Time to put the toys away. It's clean up time. It's clean up time. Time.
You don't
to
do
put
that
the
at the
toys
house
away.
either. I clean up at the house also. You do put away groceries
I carry them up
sometimes.
when I'm around.
You do. Okay, you do the
I'm
guy
going to come back
stuff.
to it. Let me ask you this.
I think this is all good because, like you said, like then I'm in control of everything and I can tell you what needs to be done. And honestly, sometimes when you do the laundry, I'm like, don't touch my stuff.
Oh, it's
and then you mess it
unbelievable.
up.
If I
so
touch
like,
anything
just
of
touch
yours,
your own stuff
anything.
and not my stuff.
What did I do yesterday? And you're like, I didn't ask you to do that.
Oh, you opened my suitcase.
I opened
and
your
took my
suitcase.
pillow out.
So
Because I have this amazing pillow, which you did order me a pillow. You ordered me like 7 pillows to try because I left that one amazing pillow at the hotel. And how did the hotel already lose it when we were like 5 minutes out of the hotel room? But because I have this bad neck, I have pillows whenever I travel. And
what you have is a
Yes.
wafer. It's this thin.
True.
It's awful.
But
so
yeah,
you pack it, you
opened
bring
my
it.
suitcase. You did bring up my suitcase and you opened it. Of
course I
put the
carried up
pillow
your
on the
suitcase.
bed and I was like, don't do that
Whoa,
again.
whoa! I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Have you ever strolled your own suitcase when we've gone anywhere?
No.
Have you ever picked it up or put it down when we've gone anywhere?
I actually did a TikTok
Have you ever
on that
brought it up
yesterday.
into the house ever? So I bring it up
I
into
did
the
have
house,
to do
of
that
course.
when I traveled just with Karina the other day.
I understand.
Then
but
I found some other guy to do it for me, so you aren't really needed
so
in that
I'm easily
aspect
replaced.
either.
But when I'm there, I do it. So we get home and I'm like, I know she's going to want this pillow. So I open up your
True.
suitcase and I open it up just to take it out and put it on the bed for you
Yes,
without messing up the bed. Just put it there. And you're like, I didn't ask you to do that.
true.
Okay. All right, you ready?
You should probably go to the
We
next
never
question.
answer that question. I just want
What
you
was
to know
the
that.
question again? What do we?
Well,
how have
This
we?
person's wife controls the finances and in all capitals will not let the person asking the question have any input.
Yeah. So for that, I did put QuickBooks on Mark's desktop, and then he kept saying he doesn't have access. And so I'm like, I'll get into it with you. Here it is. Here it is. And then he kept saying he doesn't. At a certain point, like, husband, maybe it's about you. Like, maybe your wife's trying, but you're just like not taking it on. But will not. I mean, I don't know. That's just like wives, end up doing a lot of stuff. So if he really wants control of all that stuff, then I guess he has to sit down with her and be like, I need you to show me how to do all this stuff, or I want to have more equal access. Maybe they need like monthly meetings. Maybe they need like home
Really?
values.
Really, this question is such a good question because my wife also will not allow me to touch the finances. And so she controls all of it. And I have tried, say everything you just said, monthly meetings, having sit downs, all these discussions.
I did all that for you, and you're still like, I don't have the code. I don't have
Right.
the username. But
Right.
like,
To the best of my knowledge, my wife is saving away money somewhere else and I have no idea.
True.
But it is true. Like if you're asking the question, so from everything's a trade-off. If you're asking the question, then it might be really important to you. And generally in life, you get what you allow. And
if you keep on doing what you're doing, then you're going to keep on getting what you're getting.
Why-
A lawyer in our office said that.
there's
quote,
a
which I
reason.
love.
There's a reason that
Maybe
this
she
wife
is hiding
is not
money.
giving access.
I should start to hide money.
You should do that. I wouldn't know.
You would have literally no clue.
So,
If you paid things, then you would.
but the question
I have some bills that need to be paid. Do you want to pay them?
I'm sure you'll have me Zelle and Venmo them later. So
There's only like 2 out of 1,000 things on Venmo that need to be done. You know that, right?
Venmo is way harder than what you're doing. Way harder. Because you got to find the number and then you go back from the text
It's
with
the
the
same
person's name.
people that you pay
and then
every
it
week.
won't be, oh, no, no,
It's
no.
like right there.
Nope. I'm getting requests from your daughters. Hey,
I would
someone
not
just
be
paid.
Venmoing our
Someone
daughters
I don't
anything.
Venmo them. I Venmo the person who paid for their $19 for their side of the meal.
Yeah, you should be like, no, that's because they're basically saying like, Dad, I don't want to Venmo from my account. I want you to Venmo from your account. That's what they're doing.
So you want me to start saying like Venmo denied?
I'm just telling you,
Just tell me. I can Venmo deny easier. No. Mom says no.
I mean, they should be able
Mom
to
and I
Venmo from
say
their own account.
No.
I'm just saying.
Venmo.
Venmo. All right, let's go to the next question.
There are no next ones. We're getting
Oh, there
waved
aren't?
at.
Okay.
No, there are more questions.
Oh,
But we're getting waved at as if it's time for us to stop. That this episode's coming to an end, which means
you talk a lot. That's what that means.
there are listeners and viewers all across the world right now that are like, but what about the next question? Because the
And
next
they have
question,
more questions.
the next question's a really good one.
Well, what's the next question?
I'm not going to tell you because we're out of time.
Okay.
You have to wait now. Now the world, and because if I tell you, you have time to think it through.
True.
And that's probably not as good for me.
No, I mean, I was just going to like have it as part of this episode.
You
But
wanna
we
do
can
one
wait
more?
for the next one.
Okay, but this is a big one.
Okay.
Let me ask Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue, should we do one more or wait for the next one? We get one more. Bonnie
Okay.
Blue says yes. I fear I've shared too much with my friends about my boyfriend. I want to take it to the next level, but they all hate him. Is it
Ooh.
possible that they like him again, or is he ruined forever?
Wow. We were just
Okay,
talking
hold
about
on.
that this morning.
Because I knew this question was coming.
Oh, you cheated.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
How did you know the question
Bonnie Blue
was
told
coming?
me for no reason. I don't know why Bonnie Blue tells me. I don't know why Bonnie Blue does what Bonnie Blue does. I just do what I'm told to do. I have made clear I don't want to know the questions in advance. But let me just say this.
I mean, you were a runner-up for a really long time for my parents, and they have come to love you. So it is possible.
I still think they trade me in for the other option. So if, of course, when they hear that, I'm going to get a phone call immediately going, that was never true.
That's not true, Marky
Yeah, you were
Mark.
always the best.
Yes.
All right. So I have so many things to address with this. So number one, you're literally saying, is he ruined forever because my friends don't like him? Your friends don't make the choices for you. You make the choices for you. So if your friends hate him forever and he's actually an amazing guy that could make your life amazing, and you're going, well, is he? No, he isn't ruined. You may have ruined the perception of him for your friends. So let's now delve into that a little bit more together.
Yes.
The next part of it is he really the right guy to go to the next level, or are you trying to rationalize it because you don't have the confidence that you could pull in the guy that you ought to be able to pull in because you don't have the confidence going, I am this good and I deserve someone at a high level? And that's a different question, because if you're complaining to your friends and they only hear your side of the story and there's no context, then friends can be vicious and they can never forgive someone. Meanwhile, they'll put up with way more in their own lives because deep down you actually have a great guy, but you just share more than they share. So I would try to step back and ask this, put love to the side. I was going to actually talk to you about this one, but put love to the side. What are you looking for?
That goes back to the list, like the list that our girls have.
Right. Go step back and ask yourself honestly at this point. Forget what your friends think. Forget what you share. Those are different issues. Your friends don't get a vote, but are they being unfair, or are you with the wrong guy and you're trying to rationalize it because you're afraid of the pain of losing without thinking about what's the most important decision you're going to make in your life?
Who you marry.
Who you marry. So you're like, I'm going to step this up. He might be ruined forever because my friends say so. Is he actually an amazing guy? And if he's not amazing, then you deserve to hold out for amazing for you. Now, if he is amazing, are you oversharing? Do you have the wrong friends?
Right.
All right. That was the first one I took on my own because I was so wound up about this. Because if your friends got a vote, I might not have made it.
True. Yes.
So
There's like a TikTok going on right now. It's like casual things me and my boyfriend did. And then the next part of it is like nothing. He fell in love and told me he loved me like the next day. And I was like, oh, no, can't participate in that one. I think that...
I'm totally confused by that TikTok trend. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. It's basically like, it's too much. I'll explain later. But I do think oftentimes, especially when people are young, but probably at any age, like the love like blinds them. And so it's hard to know from this question, like you can make any argument. I mean, we're attorneys. So, I mean, a lot of being attorneys is taking the facts and making them be seen how you want them to be seen, right? Like I've seen you in trial sometimes and you literally take a medical record and flip the words around to highlight what you want. And if the other attorney doesn't see it that way, then the jury's going to be left with what you say, right? I mean, juries are all taking evidence as they see it based on attorneys.
The job of a lawyer is to be the advocate for their side.
Right. Be the advocate for their side. So if you are like, if she got in a fight with her boyfriend and then went to her girlfriends and was like, he did this,
like,
and that.
She might go and go, he doesn't do anything around the house but take out the garbage. He doesn't do the money. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything with the kids. He doesn't, like, if that's all she says, then the perfect guy, hypothetically, maybe getting lost in the shuffle.
Doesn't look so perfect.
No.
Right. Actually, it looks like really bad. Like
so
time
bad.
to trade him in.
Meanwhile, he could be the best of the best, and you could make it. You could make anyone sound bad.
Yeah. So I mean, the question is like, are they seeing that he's bad with their own eyes, or are they seeing it through what they're hearing from the girlfriend? So I mean, it's hard to say, but I honestly think those lists of like, what are you looking for, and does he meet them? Even with work, like when we're looking for a team member to join, we talked about this morning. Like we need to really look at what are the things that we really need, because those lists like really help you focus on, is this the right person, or what am I doing for the day, or, you know, like should be more goal oriented.
Your perfect candidate whether it's for marriage or for a job.
Yeah.
And then it will be easier to see if they're there. All right.
Right.
Final thoughts. What are your final thoughts? What's your biggest takeaway from today's episode?
I like the question and answer, but it's also fun to go back and forth with you. But my final thoughts
That's good. You've been doing that for a while.
True. So my final thoughts are I'm going to go back and make a list of what I'm looking for in a husband and see if you're meeting all of them. I've never done that before. I'm going to take the kids.
I don't know if that's healthy for us.
I don't really have time to make a whole long list, but I'm going to just ask the girls to give me their list. And then I'm going to like combine them all. And then I'm going to be like, Mark, go through all of these and see if you meet all of this criteria.
And I think my final takeaway from this episode is I need to pay attention to all I do because it's super long and I'm doing stuff all the time and I'm just not paying attention. So I need to build value in my relationship so you understand all that I do. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed the Law and Love podcast and we will see you next time.